Okay, let me go to the next question about Hadith. This is very easy, Brother Imtiaz. Do Ahmadis accept the traditional Muslim way of authenticating Hadith? Is there any such usul in Hadith that says if it happens, then it must be Sahih? If it basically, I think it means if it comes true, then it must be Sahih.
First of all, let me inshallah bring on the screen so I can walk people through the main part so they can see that this is what their position on the hadith is. We have shown this in the past as well, but let's inshallah do it one more time. This is the principle in Ahmadiyya when it comes to ahadith, as you can see on the screen. Malfuzat, i.e. the documented sayings of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani, volume number 2, page 25. जो खुदा की तरफ से मामूर होकर हकम बनकर आया, जो मानी कुरान शरीफ के वो करेगा वही सही होंगे, जिस हदीस को वो सही करार देगा वही सही हदीस होगी. He says that the one who has come as hakam, as the ultimate authority and judge, i.e. in this case Mirza Ghulam Qadiani, he said that whatever meanings of the Quran he will describe, there will be the only authentic meaning. And whichever hadith he will declare as a Sahih hadith, there will be Sahih hadith. So as per Ahmadiyya, I'm not concerned about what this guy said or that guy said. What Mirza Ghulam Qadiani said, he is the authority. It's not the traditional hadith sciences. For example, in the traditional Muslim sciences of hadith, remember, these are the principles which make a hadith sahih. Number one, it must have uninterrupted chain going all the way to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it muttasil. Number one is muttasil. Number two is marfu. Muttasil means connected chain from the narrator till all the way. And number two, marfu. It should reach to Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And number three, it must all the narrators in this chain must be trustworthy. So the chain is there, uninterrupted chain is there. It is marfu, reach to the Prophet, and all the people in the chain, they are trustworthy. And number four, it must not be shaz. Shaz means, when everything is seemingly fine, but one trustworthy person is going against the group of trustworthy people. So this will tell us that this one person has made some mistake. Why? Because that group is saying something different. So this hadith must not be shaz. Shaz means that one person is not going against the group of trustworthy people. And the last thing is, it must not have a illah. It basically means it must not have some hidden demerit or some hidden problem. I give you a simple example. Somebody may be seemingly healthy, everything is fine, but when you do his different blood tests, etc., you discover that he has some problem. Likewise, sometimes a hadith is fulfilling all of these four things. What are the four things? We have the uninterrupted chain. The chain goes to the Prophet. The people in the chain are trustworthy. They are not contradicting each other, but yet there is some hidden defect, or it's called illate qadiha. There's a hidden defect in the hadith or in the matan, in the text. There is some problem. So in this case, they are not able to find out that where the problem took place, but they can see that there is some problem. So then on the basis of this, they still will not take the hadith. So these are the 5 qualities which a hadith must possess in order to be called hadith sahih. Not sahihul asnad. That is just one or two things which make it Sahih Asnad. No, the authentic hadith, the Sahih hadith, which can be used to establish something in Islam, must have these 5 qualities. As far as Ahmadiyya is concerned, it only needs 1 quality, and that is Mirza Ghulam Qadiani declares it right. That's one thing. So this was the actual answer to the question. Now, it says that, I think this is enough, Umar, right?
Yeah. So I don't think there is, because they say if something happens, if something comes to true,
Okay,
that means it is Sahih.
yeah. Okay, I got. Look at this one. Basically, the reason they are saying this, because there is a narration in which it is mentioned that somebody with the name Muhammad bin Ali, he says that, it is said that they are for our Mahdi, there are 2 signs, and they are sun and the moon eclipse in these specific nights of the month of Ramadan, and they have never happened before ever. Now take a pause here. Please take a pause here. First of all, this hadith is telling us that, because according to Ahmadiyya, this person Muhammad bin Ali is Imam Baqir. May Allah be pleased with him. Right? According to Ahmadiyya, this person Muhammad bin Ali is Imam Baqir. Take a pause here. Okay, if it's Imam Baqir, according to Ahlul Bayt, there's not even 0.0001% chance that Mahdi can be outside of Ahlul Bayt from his father's side. Impossible. Which means that whoever Imam Baqir is referring to, this person must be from Ahlul Bayt. Which Mirza Ghulam Qadiani, as per his own clear statement, from his father's side, he was not from Ahlul Bayt, number 1. Number 2, Mirza Ghulam Qadiani said that there is not a single hadith on Mahdi which is authentic. Now at this point, the point raised by Umar, now that becomes relevant. Because on the one hand, Mirza Ghulam Qadiani was telling that there is not a single hadith on Mahdi is authentic, and yet he wanted to use this unauthentic unauthentic narration about the sun and the moon eclipse. So then he invented a principle. He said that if something comes true, it makes the hadith authentic. Let's take a pause here. It has to work both ways. If a prophecy does not come true, then what? For example, in the case of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani, when Mirza Ghulam Qadiani was prophesying an earthquake in 1905, 6, and 7, in all of these 3, 1905, 6, and 7, he was prophesying a specific earthquake. He said that God has informed me again and again that, O Mirza, it will happen in your lifetime, in your country, for your benefit. And guess what? Mirza Ghulam Qadiani died in May 1908. It never happened. So Mirza Ghulam Qadiani said something, it did not come true, then what would be conclusion? Because if your logic is, if something is prophesied and that comes true, it will establish the truthfulness. Then on the same principle, if something is prophesied and it does not come true, that must establish the falsehood of the person. Use the same principle. And last but not the least, please pay attention to this. Last point is very important. Every hadith or everything or every prophecy coming from the authentic hadith must be true. But every truth is not hadith. For example, there are many people, many fortune tellers, okay? They are making the prophecies about the future. What would you say? Some of them come true as well. What would you say then? So what I'm trying to say, Umar Bhai, is that if they are going to use this principle, that if a prophecy comes true, it will establish the truthfulness, then it has to be the converse meaning as well. If a prophecy does not come true, then it must establish the falsehood as well? You decide. Ji Umar.
Yes, because it doesn't make sense, Brother Imtiaz. If somebody today says Rasulullah said that there will be computers in 2025 or there will be ChatGPT in 25, and now there is ChatGPT, are we going to say it is an authentic hadith? You cannot. It doesn't. This usul has no. It makes no sense. You know, like I can predict something that will happen next year. So then I say, okay, Rasulullah said this will happen, and then it happens next year. I said, okay, this is the truth. Astaghfirullah. I have lied. Rasulullah said, whoever attributes a lie to him knowingly should prepare his seat in hell.
Actually, you know, Umar, I said something, I think a few weeks ago on Urdu, TikTok live on this same prophecy, because they use this principle for this sun and moon eclipse. I want people to pay attention. Please, people, think about this. If there was a false claimant of Mahdi, if there was a false claimant of Mahdi in that very time, would sun and moon eclipse still happen? Umar, would it still happen?
It will still happen.
It will still happen. Why? Because the sun and moon eclipse, they are happening in a cycle, and they necessarily happen in those times. Correct, Umar?
Yes, every 20 plus years.
Exactly. Which means, regardless of if there was a true claimant of Mahdi at that time or a false claimant of Mahdi at that time, it will happen regardless of that. Which means, if something is not dependent, is not specifically linked to the truthful one, it cannot be the sign for the truthful one. It is the same thing, Umar. You know, they say, oh, you know what? People are opposing Ahmadiyya, which means Ahmadiyya is true. Why? Oh, you know, all the prophets are opposed. Hang on a second. All the prophets are opposed. That's true. We agree with that. But everyone who's opposed is a prophet. That's not true. Likewise, what I'm trying to say in this case is, if something is equally happening, common Ahmadis, in the case of sun and moon eclipse, if something is equally happening, regardless of a false claimant or a truth claim or a true claimant, it cannot be the sign for a true claimant. Ji Umar.